Poland is demanding answers. The Pentagon has suddenly scrapped a planned rotation of a U.S. armored brigade, a move that has rattled one of Washington's closest NATO allies and left Warsaw feeling blindsided. Is this a sign of shifting U.S. priorities or something more concerning? Before we dive into this complex situation, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics and its impact on the world stage, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and allows us to bring you these in-depth reports. Now let's get into it. The news is out. A planned deployment of approximately 4,000 U.S. Army soldiers from the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division, to Poland has been halted. This wasn't just any deployment. It was part of a routine 9-month NATO force rotation designed to bolster the alliance's eastern flank. Poland, a nation that has become a crucial hub for military and logistics since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, is understandably concerned. Roughly 10,000 U.S. troops are typically stationed in Poland, largely through these recurring rotations, so the cancellation of a significant brigade deployment understandably raises questions. Polish officials, while stressing they still view themselves as a model ally and expect cooperation with the U.S. to continue, are making their voices heard. Poland's Deputy Defense Minister, Paweł Zalewski, spoke directly to Fox News Digital in an exclusive interview, stating emphatically, "We will ask questions and I guess that we will get answers." He's heading to Washington for meetings with Pentagon officials and members of Congress, aiming to get clarity on this abrupt decision. The Pentagon, for its part, has offered a somewhat vague explanation. They claim the decision followed a comprehensive, multi-layered process involving key leaders in U.S. European Command and throughout the chain of command. They've denied it was a last-minute or unexpected move, but they have declined to detail the specific reasons for halting the rotation. Meanwhile, the White House has been unavailable for immediate comment. This situation has not gone unnoticed on Capitol Hill. Bipartisan criticism has erupted, with lawmakers pointing to Poland's critical role as a frontline state against Russia. Representative Don Bacon, a Republican from Nebraska, called the cancellation a slap in the face to Poland during a House Armed Services Committee hearing. The committee's chairman, Mike Rogers, also indicated that lawmakers had not been adequately consulted. This sentiment is echoed by previous praise for Poland, with former Secretary Pete Hegseth once calling them an unmatched ally in Europe. It's important to note that Poland has been a stalwart partner. They spend the highest portion of their GDP on defense of any NATO country, a remarkable 4.8%, and have been instrumental in facilitating military aid to Ukraine. This makes the Pentagon's decision all the more perplexing for Warsaw. Deputy Foreign Minister Marcin Bosacki acknowledged frustration in Poland regarding the communication of this decision, stating, "It should have been communicated better. We're still awaiting some answers." However, he reiterated assurances received from the U.S. that there are no plans to reduce the overall number or capabilities of American troops in Poland. Warsaw expects troop rotations to continue, maintaining the presence at around 10,000 soldiers, and desires to deepen this military partnership further. This halted rotation isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a broader U.S. strategy, particularly under the Trump administration, to reevaluate its military footprint in Europe and push NATO allies to assume greater responsibility for continental defense. We've seen similar moves, like plans to withdraw roughly 5,000 U.S. troops from Germany and earlier troop drawdowns in Romania. The overarching goal, often referred to as NATO 3.0, is to shift U.S. military focus more toward the Indo-Pacific and China, while encouraging European allies to enhance their own defense spending, readiness, and industrial capacity. But Poland is not just a passive recipient of U.S. support. It sees itself on the front lines of a different kind of conflict. Deputy Defense Minister Zalewski warned that Poland and other Eastern NATO members are engaged in a certain kind of hybrid war with Russia. He cited constant cyber attacks, acts of sabotage, incursions by Russian drones into Polish airspace, and massive disinformation campaigns aimed at undermining trust and dividing NATO allies. These threats, he argues, have intensified since Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 and are designed to weaken NATO internally without triggering a direct military response. Zalewski expressed skepticism about easing relations with Moscow, believing Russia views the US and NATO as its primary adversaries, with a long-term objective of fracturing Western alliances. He believes the Russian elite harbors deep-seated hate for America, viewing it as its biggest enemy since the early 20th century. So what does this mean? Poland is a crucial ally, a strong defender of NATO's eastern flank, and a nation deeply concerned about Russian aggression. The Pentagon's opaque decision-making process, coupled with criticisms from U.S. lawmakers, suggests a disconnect or a misunderstanding of the geopolitical realities on the ground. The potential for a reduced U.S. commitment, even if troop numbers remain stable through different rotational patterns, could embolden Russia and undermine the collective security of the alliance. It also raises questions about the reliability of U.S. commitments, particularly as the U.S. pivots its strategic focus. This move could be interpreted by Moscow as a sign of waning Western resolve, while allies like Poland feel their security concerns are being sidelined. The upcoming meetings in Washington will be critical in determining whether clarity and reassurance can be provided, or if this signals a more fundamental shift in U.S.-Europe defense policy. So what do you think about this? Is the U.S. justified in reevaluating its European presence, or is this move jeopardizing NATO's collective security and emboldening adversaries? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. This is a developing story, and we'll be keeping a close eye on the diplomatic and military discussions. Stay informed, stay engaged.